something totally different that I've never actually done before. So please, I apologise if this is not the cool YouTube way to do things, but we just got this parcel delivered. I didn't order it and I'm a bit excited. It's from one of those companies that post houseplants out. So okay, so we've got a plant and a pot. Be very careful here because it's a wee plant. It's been through the post as it is. And there's no note. What are you, little plant? Oh, is that a pothos? Oh. I think that's a pothos. I'm not certain, I'll have to check because I've never had one before. Okay, hang on. So, where's this come from? Oh, there's a note. Let's see. It says, just for you. Yep, it's a pothos. Had to share with Kate, she's off doing weed and stuff. But this has come with this wee card in it, which is lovely. It says, ladies, you have entertained during these times. As a thank you, please enjoy this little houseplant, David and Ellen. That's so cute. And it's a satin pothos. I feel so bad saying this, but I don't know who David and Ellen are, so whoever you guys are, I hope you have been commenting and I have been chatting to you, and I'm equally embarrassed that I don't remember you if you have, but please put a wee note down. But thank you so much. This is such an awesome, amazing, lovely gesture. I don't really know what to say because this is a bit unusual. But yeah, so it's a pothos. Now, I've never had a pothos because quite a lot of houseplants are actually toxic to pets like cats and dogs. And as you guys know, Penny chews plants. So I'm going to have to find somewhere very high up to put this. And I'll need to think about whether I leave it. It's come in this little small hanging pot, and it's come with a bigger pot, which would look awesome on a shelf. So I'm going to have a think about how I do this. But David and Ellen, thank you so much. That's such an awesome, amazing, special thing. And I'm going to disappear now before I get all teary and well up. But yeah, thank you guys. You've given me an idea for a video, so I'm going to go and do other cool houseplant stuff now. Hey folks, something a bit different today because as you can see we're indoors. Today we're going to just be looking at my indoor garden. So I thought this might actually be a fun video to do because, total confession, I kill plants all the time. I'm going to generalise here and I think I might be safe to do this, but I think it's a thing when you're a gardener. You can do all this growing veggies and all that kind of thing out in the garden. But when it comes to indoor plants, house plants as we call them in the UK, I think most of us actually pretty much suck at looking after them and kind of kill them a lot. I don't think I'm on my own there. So yeah, so on that note, I thought it might be fun to do this as a wee series interspersed with everything else, because I've had to go on a bit of an adventure to learn about all of this stuff, and I thought, well, why not share it with all my other plant killing gardening buddies out there? Please guys, tell me I'm not on my own here. So I brought you up here. These are not all of my houseplants. For someone who says they kill houseplants a lot, I actually have a lot of houseplants. I like houseplants. I love bringing the greenery into the house, so I do love having them. I just aren't very good at looking after them. So here we go. This is where my story starts. My entire houseplant story started with this guy. Okay, this is my jade plant. Now, that jade plant is, I think, about 20 years old-ish now. And I got it as a cutting from a friend whose plant at the time was 20-odd years old. So, you know, it's a bit of an old lady in plant terms. But it was maybe a couple of years ago now. I've got lots of blog posts on this mad adventure, okay, because I really had to go on a big, long learning curve. So, as usual, I remember this now. Watch a video, left watch. So I'll put it up here, all the blog posts, you can go and have a read and go on the adventure with me. But basically, this plant was huge, probably twice the size of that it is now. And where it was fine, it was getting loads of light. I couldn't get to it very often, so it pretty much wasn't getting watered very often, and it did fine. But when I rearranged my study, I decided I wanted my plant in the study with me. Unfortunately, because it was so huge, there isn't really a good space to put it that gets lots of light. So it wasn't getting enough light. And because it was beside me, I kind of did my usual and I overwatered it because I loved it too much. And I almost killed it. I had to learn to prune it all to make it smaller so I could manage it. And I had to learn about watering and feeding and light and all that stuff. So that's the plant that really got me on this journey. And then the other kind of plants that are doing this with me, you can't see them just now, but it's peace lilies. So jade plants are my thing that I love. Peace lilies are the thing that Kate loves. And Kate's peace lilies, again, she's had them for 20 plus years. And again, there were plants that we kept overwatering, getting brown leaves, they weren't flowering, so we've had to go on these adventures. So basically, this is what this is all about. Today's very much a start and an intro to all of my houseplants, and I'll start telling you guys about the whole care of them and what I've learned and all of that kind of stuff. So the next time I do this, it'll be more specific on things or specific plants. Today, I've just got some chores that need done, so I thought it was a good chance to chat to you and show off my plants. Now, what I'm going to do today is this. I'll start with the pothos. So this has just switched on my phone. That's quite good. Apparently it has the same fingerprint as me. Okay, so this is really uncomfortable for sitting in here. I need a higher table. But this is the pothos. Again, thank you so much, guys. It's just the best thing ever. It's such an amazing present. But what I need to do is get it out of here. It came in this little plastic pot. Now, it did have straps for hanging, because generally when you display these, most people hang them because they're trailing plants, okay? And these are really trendy just now. Everybody has these just now. But the problem with the pot it's in is there's no drainage. It's exactly like your plants outdoors. If there's no drainage, how are you not going to overwater your plant? So that's first thing I need to do. I've got a few house plants that are in pots that are not ideal, so I'm going to get them potted up. And here's the thing. Now what I've done, because I'm indoors, I've got a bucket for mess. And I've got my tray with my soil, like I would do if I was outdoors. I'm going to try and keep this clean and tidy, because otherwise Kate will kill me. Because if you've ever tried to hoover up soil from a carpet... Yeah, anyway, back to the pots. These are the pots I'm going to use. Now, I started off, all of my pots have... Basically, they're little plant pots like this, and they're inside these nice fancy pots for indoor plants, because they look pretty. But it's not helping me with my whole problem of overwatering, because I can't really see what's going on in there, and I can't get to things very easily when I'm watering to let it drain. And then if I don't drain it properly, it's sitting in there. And even though the inside pot's draining, it's sitting in the ceramic pot, so it's still sitting in a puddle. So what I've done is I'm going with these because they don't look horrible. I don't mind the look of them, so they can be out. They've got a drainage hole, which is great, and they come with a wee saucer. So it'll sit all awesome. But terracotta pots, the reason these traditional pots are used everywhere is because they're porous. So they actually let some of the water evaporate out through the pot as well as the soil at the top. So they help if you're an overwaterer like me. So that's why I'm going with these. And also, obviously, you get them in all different sizes. So you pick the size you need for the planting you're doing. Right. This is the most rubbish, uncomfortable setup. I need a big, proper tall table in here. Okay, so as I said, I've got my bucket for my rubbish because you always get soil that falls off. So, let's go. Try to be so careful here. And look at that. So you can see there, right? So this is quite cool for all you guys that are terrified and have never done this type of thing before. This gives you a chance to have a look. Look at those roots. Look how pot bound it is, okay? And I can feel that doesn't need watered. It's still really, really moist, even though I watered it a fortnight ago and haven't watered it since. Possibly because of that pot. I'm just being so careful because of all the trailing bits. It's really difficult. Okay, so... Okay, I'm going to make a mess. There's no getting round it. Okay, so a bit of soil in the bottom. I'm doing that kind of trying to judge height because, like everything else, I'm wanting it to be in the pot, but I don't want it to be right up to the lip of the pot. I want there to be a little bit of space for the water so that when I water, it doesn't overflow. There was something comforting about that, about when you're learning to do this and you realise a lot of it is exactly the same as what you're used to doing in the garden. I've so made a mess. So it's not all the way up to the lip of the pot. There's a nice little bit, and I'm just making sure all the roots are covered. And it's nice and secure in there. Because with this being a trailing plant and it gets quite big and quite heavy, you do want it to be nice and secure. There we go. So, first one done. I was saying about the jade plant. So obviously when I had to do all that pruning, I ended up with, I think, over 20 little cuttings. And I still have about 7 or 8 of these in the house. I've given loads away as presents, but I'm just bringing them on. I think what I may do is just bring them on as little kind of bonsai type things. Now, I'm not repotting these up. These guys hardly ever get watered. Again, I'll do a proper video and talk about jades, but I'm not repotting these. So this is the next guy I'm going to do. This guy is an Arrowhead. And I'm going to show you this. You'll see all my houseplants, I've got these little yellow sticky paper things. They are awesome. They are for what's called a fungus gnat. Or, basically, they're really sticky. That's why I'm being super careful. I need to put it somewhere it's not going to stick. There. You know how in your houseplants, if you get loads of those little black flies? Dead annoying. That's a fungus gnat. And again, it's one of the things I had to learn to deal with. This is perfect to show you. So, little pot inside with drainage holes, but what it means is the water drains in here if I'm not careful with my watering. So, yeah, okay, the plant's not sitting in that, but that's stagnant water that's now sitting in the bottom of the plant pot. Doesn't help with things like the fungus gnats. So I'm not going to talk about fungus gnats today. I'm going to do a video on that because they are a pain in the neck and I had to learn how to deal with them. And one of the things was the little yellow sticky things. But that's for another video. Right. Just checking it. Right. Okay. And again, I want it just below the lip of the pot. But I do want to backfill and make sure all the roots are covered and it's nice and secure in there. Now, if you're repotting plants, do not, or at least do your best, try and resist the urge to just put them into a big massive pot and think, oh, that'll do them for ages. Because again, like if you're outdoors and you're a container gardener or you do pots outdoors or when you're bringing on seedlings, if you just pot them straight away into a nice big pot, you can shock them and stop them growing and freak them out a bit. So you only want to go about 2 inches bigger than the pot if you can. So you go with like a 6-inch to an 8-inch, 8-inch to a 10-inch, that kind of thing. So there we go. So, oh, it's stuck. These things are crazy sticky. If you have long hair, you need to be really careful and not get these in your hair because they are a nightmare. But that's kind of the point, is you want the sticky. This guy is a Dumbcane. Oh, this is one of the ones that is letting me know that my watering sucks. Because he reacts really quickly to bad watering. Stay there. Yeah, so, have I got any to show you? Yeah. So one of the things with these types of houseplants is you'll get leaves at the bottom that start to go yellow, okay? Don't panic, that's totally okay, that's natural. But when your leaves up at the top start to go yellow or brown or whatever, that tells you there's a problem. And it's usually watering. This guy, I am underwatering like mad because I'm so paranoid because I can't kind of see the soil. So he's going in a terracotta pot like the rest so that I can keep an eye on him. So yeah, he's always underwatered, but he's draining out into the bottom there. So I just need to be able to see what I'm doing and keep an eye on him, that's all. Could totally build this as yoga with Eli. Yep, again, look, awesome root structure. It's times like this I wish I had an actual camera person who could do a zoom in for me just now and show you that there was one of those wee black flies. It would have been dead good to show you. So it's kind of like a rinse and repeat, really. Just make sure he's all backfilled. And firmed in. Okay, so I've still got some other plants that I need to pot up, but we're going to switch up just to show you something a bit different just now. And then I'll just get on with finishing my chores, and you guys don't need to follow me around for all of this. But this guy. Doo-ba-doo. Okay. This is a spider plant. This doesn't belong to me. So Lee, if you're watching, this is your plant. I don't know how you guys are all doing, but when we went into lockdown, I ended up being plant lady. So I have fostered lots of my workmates' plants. And this guy, the guys at work know this story, but I thought I'd share it with you for fun. I had a relative, an aunt, when I was a kid, who grew loads of these things. And I have to be honest, it freaked me out. I've got a real thing, I don't like spiders. People who knew me a while back when I started gardening, I'm just taking the dust off. People who knew me were shocked when I started gardening because I hate beasties and dirt and all that kind of thing. And I've learned to deal with that fear over the years because of the gardening, but I still can't stand spiders. And this, I think it's because it's called a spider plant, a lot of it's psychological, but these big hanging tendrils with the little baby plants on the end. I wonder if I can get it in shot like that. They're called like spider pups and things, but when I was a kid, I always remember them all hanging all over my aunt's house, and she used to have these hanging in the stairs, and you had to go under them going up the stairs, and he used to touch me and think, freaked me out. So even Lee had this in his office at work, and I used to avoid it like the plague. But then I was the last person to go in, and they'd all left their plants for me, so I couldn't leave it because I didn't want it to die, basically. So I have learned to love this plant, and it's got me over my fear of it, I think. So thank you, Lee, for that. I'm actually now a spider plant lover. And what I'm going to do, so again, I'll do this in a video with you so you can see it properly, but all of these little guys are baby plants. So much like with Jade, that you get lots and lots of babies from the cuttings, I'm actually going to take these and grow them on as little baby plants so that I can have my own spider plants, because that's how much I've got over this. But there you go, yeah. So, right, spider plant. I love it now, it's awesome. It's just got so big and so happy during lockdown. I'm so chuffed because I was terrified I was going to kill it. But it needs a really good dust. Oh my God, how bad is that? And I'm in charge of dusting as well. Right, okay, so that's me. So I'm going to go on with the rest of the chores. This was just a bit of an intro to some of my plants. Oh yeah, and I've got, as well as a jade, there's a parlour palm there as well. It's just a small one. It sits beside me on the desk when I'm working. Yeah, that's me for today then. So I hope this was a fun wee intro to give you a shout at some of the stuff that's going to be coming on. It's probably going to be good for winter when there's less outdoor stuff happening, and we can all focus on our indoor plants and our indoor gardens for that green buzz. Yeah. So I'll leave you guys with that. As usual, hit that thumbs up button to grow those likes, and if you're not already a subscriber, I recommend hitting the subscribe button and that little bell. That way you get notified every time I make a video and when I post in the community, because we have an awesome community here. It's not just about you on your own watching videos. There's loads and loads of us from all over the world, and we all post questions and answer each other's questions and stuff in the comments under the videos. So I absolutely recommend, if you're into gardening, houseplants, any of that kind of stuff, you join up and join us in our wee community. And on that note, I will head off and leave you guys to it, because I've got heaps more work to do with these plants. Hope that was fun, guys. See ya.